This is how you set up your year for success based on 3 rock-solid cornerstones. This moment, at the start of the year, is the perfect time to pause, to look how far you've come, and to decide what you want next. The 3 cornerstones combine science-backed high-performance practices with lessons I've learned in more than 2 decades in different sales and leadership functions at Google and IBM. Let's get started. Our energy, as well as our ability to focus, is the foundation of any successful venture. The good news is that we can quite easily protect our focus and nurture our energy through simple daily habits. Just as, for example, brushing our teeth is a habit. It's not energy related, but we repeatedly do it in an effortless way. In this context, ask yourself what drained your energy the most last year, and what is one thing you could repeatedly do to reduce or avoid that. And just as important as this, what is one thing you could do regularly that brings you real joy? Maybe you want to pause the video for a moment or take some screenshot to respond to these questions calmly. During a high-pressure phase in my previous job, I knew I had to be more mindful with my energy, and I started going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, paying more attention to my sleep, ideally 7 to 8 hours a night, taking hourly refreshment breaks for real refreshment without phone, 5 to 10 minutes. And I continue to regularly schedule dancing, one of my favorite sources of joy, as you see on the picture behind me. In the meantime, all of these activities are deeply embedded in my weekly routine and consistently protect my focus and fuel myself with energy. The takeaway is this: commit yourself to 2 or 3 simple habits to continuously protect your focus and fuel yourself with energy. When your energy is strong, everything else becomes easier. But energy alone is not enough. Without direction, we just burn it. What brings us to cornerstone number 2, direction. So think about the year ahead and ask yourself the following question. What is the one thing you would genuinely love to do or achieve this year? Not what you should do, but rather what really matters to you. And just pick those areas that really matter to you right now. Again, take a screenshot and calmly take your time to respond to these questions. And once you have done that, ask yourself for each, what are the 3 to 5 clear steps to get there? If unsure, don't overthink it. Ask someone who's done it, Google it, or use AI. But the key is this: it's about writing down what you want and chunk it into clear steps. Let me give you 3 examples. If your goal would be to create your own website by June 30, just as an example, the steps could be the ones that you see here: to plan it, to design it, to build and test it, to launch it, go live, and to run and optimize it. Or if your goal would be to lose 16 kilo weight by the end of the year, you could simply chunk it into 4 quarters, 4 kilos each, such as shown here on this slide. Or if your goal would be to grow your YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers, you could again simply chunk it into the different quarters in a way that it makes sense to you and your channel. But the key takeaway is this: a meaningful goal gives your life direction and the motive that drives you. And when you write down your goal, you increase your likelihood of achieving it by 40% based on a study conducted by the Dominican University of California. I link it in the description. Clear steps lead to action, and action creates momentum. What brings us to cornerstone 3, action. And talking of action, it's not about doing more, it's about doing consistently the right thing in an efficient way. Based on the world's largest high-performance study, high performers consistently do these things that you see on the slide here. In essence, they manage their energy, they know what they want, and they take decisive, intentional action. If you want to go deeper, I created a video about each of them. I linked them in the description underneath. Intentional action follows a simple rhythm. Let me show you 3 examples. If we look again at the example you see here about creating your own website by June 30 and the clear steps that we broke down before. It's now about breaking down these steps into weekly outcomes. And the rhythm that I mentioned before is this. It's about a weekly planning session. It's about daily prioritized action. It's about an evening review as well as about a weekly review. Let's walk it through. When you do your weekly planning session, you simply look at your broken down goals, such as here, the first phase would be to plan your website, and you decide what is the outcome that you want to achieve by next Friday. And then every day, you ask yourself what are the 1 or 2 most impactful actions you can take to make this goal happen by the end of next week. And then, first thing in the morning, you write down what are the 1 or 2 needle movers, respectively most impactful actions you can take to achieve this goal by Friday. In the evening, at the end of work, you make a quick review, you check what worked, celebrate it, and what could you do better tomorrow, you write it down, and during a weekly review you do the same. You celebrate what has worked, and you write down what you could do better next week. And if you go to the next example and your goal is to lose a certain amount of weight, you simply choose a guiding principle such as consistently burning more energy than you consume. And then I would move forward in the same way. I would look at my quarterly goal, 4 kilo. I would divide that by 12 weeks, which is approximately 333 grams, and then I would adapt my lifestyle in such a way that I would burn 333 grams more week by week in a consistent way. Of course, the amount varies from person to person, but what you see here is something that has worked for me. A few years ago, I wanted to lose 10 kilo within 6 months, and I proceeded exactly according to this method. And then my daily prioritized action was very simple. I decided to eat 3 healthy meals a day, to move every day 30 to 60 minutes, and to avoid alcohol during the week. And again, every evening I would check what worked, what could I do better tomorrow, and for the weekly review the same. Me personally, I checked every Saturday my weight, and I checked what has worked, what did not work, what could I do better next week, and I wrote it down. And if your goal is to grow a YouTube channel, which is actually my real goal, what you see here, I would proceed as follows. The basic guiding principle, very simple, is to make better videos more often, ideally at least once a week. Of course, there are different possibilities, but that's the approach that I believe makes sense in my situation for my channel. Me personally, I start with a 90-day challenge in the first quarter, and then at the end of the first quarter, I will do a new plan based on the lessons I've learned for the second quarter, and the same for the third and the fourth quarter. If you want to build your own 90-day challenge, independently from whether it is a YouTube channel or a weight loss goal or whatever your goal is, I created a video about that and link it in the description underneath. And the structure underneath is again the same. It's about a weekly planning session, about a daily prioritization of the actions, about an evening review and a weekly review. And for the daily prioritized actions, I do this. Basically, I planned the steps to achieve my weekly goal a week in advance, such as to plan the video, to research, to script it, to film it, to edit and publish it, and to review it. And for the daily prioritized actions, one rule that I apply and that I highly recommend to everyone is to do the most difficult tasks when you have the best energy. To most people, this is in the morning. So when I start my day, even though I planned my week in advance, every morning first I ask myself what are the 1 or 2, maximum 3 needle movers that I commit doing today. And then I do them before 1 o'clock. Done by 1. Done by 1 o'clock, by one person, by you, or myself if it's about my tasks. But the key takeaway here is this. Success comes from committed, decisive, intentional action towards a clear goal. And by the way, based on the same study I mentioned before from the Dominican University of California, if you share your committed action with someone you trust, increases likelihood of achieving your goal up to 50%. And if you even share your weekly progress with someone you trust, increases likelihood of achieving your goal to 70%. Let's quickly recap. If you consistently protect and nurture your energy, know your clear goals, and systematically take intentional action, you are on a robust path to success. If you want to start your own journey with a 90-day challenge, I would recommend this video here. And if you want to know more about the science behind the high performance study, I would recommend this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I wish you a fulfilled and successful year ahead.